Running a deep structural diagnostic across the globe reveals a massive physical anomaly lighting up the board. The scan hits on thousands of star forts and massive domed structures, all sharing a mathematical alignment that anchors the centers of our oldest cities. Mainstream history classifies these as classical feats of human engineering, constructed for religious grandeur or military defense against local threats. Technical breakdowns show a contradiction in that narrative: identical blueprints replicated across 100,000 structures worldwide. These maintain shared geometric ratios, whether in Europe, Asia, or the Americas. This synchronization defies the slow timelines of cultural transfer. When identical designs appear globally in the same window of time, it points to a single batch deployment, launched simultaneously to host the simulation's initial startup. Shifting to a structured analytics paradigm reclassifies these structures. They aren't historical mysteries, but the primary hardware of the reality engine, exposed through a glitch in the render. This diagnostic operates on a single premise: our simulated reality was physically powered on at the exact epoch we call the Renaissance. Star forts and cathedrals serve as bootstrap assets. The Matrix launch required local server farms, and these structures provided the hardware. The geometric walls functioned as massive heat sinks and firewalls for the system boot. Above, central domes draw ambient power for the grid. Beneath the classical aesthetics, the vast vaulted interiors of these cathedrals provide the spatial requirements for high-density housing of raw matrix processing power. The cultural explosion of the Renaissance was the literal energy spike of a planetary simulation powering up its physical mainframes for the first time. If the world booted during the Renaissance, how do we account for thousands of years of recorded history that supposedly occurred before it? The Middle Ages exists as a pre-rendered database. Upon launch, the system injected this lore file directly into the Matrix to provide an immediate context for newly spawned human avatars. Legendary rulers and intricate borders were procedural parameters, programmed NPCs and maps designed to anchor the narrative. Periods of stagnation, like the Dark Ages, are the signature of algorithmic copy-paste errors, where the engine reused assets to fill out a massive procedural history. This narrative was a necessity. An engine injecting millions of conscious minds into a live environment cannot reveal its own server architecture. It requires a mask. Modern historians are unknowingly debugging the source code of the reality engine's narrative patch. This hardware remains active and present in our modern reality. The system applies narrative camouflage to mask the tech, generating artificial patina and fictional records to frame these structures as decaying stone. Stripped of its narrative coding, the architecture functions as the active, breathing machinery keeping the current simulation online. The data requires us to stop viewing these buildings through historical documents and start treating them as exposed system code. Standing in the center of an old city means looking past a narrative illusion and seeing the physical hardware of the Matrix. Every walk through an old city is a walk through the active server room of the reality engine.